You are watching Outnumbered. I'm Emily Campagno, and here today, my co-host Kaylee McEnany, America Reports co-anchor Sandra Smith, host of Kennedy on Fox Business Kennedy, and in the virtual center seat, Dave Rubin, host of the Rubin Report. Welcome to you all. And Sandra, I'd like to start with you on this. So we're learning now that the commission is made up of mostly academics, and in the release that Peter just read, their purpose is to analyze, and just digging a bit further into who is a member. It's co-chaired by one of the top attorneys of the Biden campaign, as well as a Yale Law School professor, and other members include the former president of the American Constitution Society, and then a Harvard Law School professor. Your thoughts on that makeup?
Correct. So mostly academics. We're talking about 36 people led by, as you mentioned, Bob Bauer, Christina Rodriguez. Nobody expects that this will lead to change overnight. Nonetheless, it could lead to big change if that was so decided by this group of people. And I want to put a focus on Supreme Court Justice Breyer in this moment, because Breyer spoke out in a speech, I believe it was at Harvard Law School. This just happened this week on Tuesday. Spoke out very clearly against court expansion, Emily, warning that it could make the court more political and could undermine trust in the institution. The words of Breyer, very important in this moment, saying structural altercation motivated by the perception of political influence can only feed that latter perception, further eroding that trust. And we should point out, as he says that there are liberals aggressively lobbying Breyer, 82 years old, to retire from the court. So while Democrats control the Senate, Biden could possibly replace him in this very key moment of history for the Supreme Court in this country.
So, Kaylee, against that backdrop, then, of calls for Breyer to resign by the left, against his warning that this is a political move that could erode the trust in the institution, do you think that change is likely here? We saw the purpose a moment ago. It's to analyze, but clearly by even forming this commission, that's stating a message as well.
Yeah, it's absolutely stating a message. As you'll recall, Joe Biden was asked time after time on the campaign trail his position on this, and it took him months to announce this idea for the commission, which was really a way to appease the far left. And look at what's happening here. Let's broaden this out. When the left doesn't get their way, the modern day radical left, their answer is to change the institution. We've had 9 Supreme Court justices since 1869, and now we're talking about court packing. The filibuster has been used since the 1800s, and now we're talking about getting rid of it. The Electoral College in our Constitution, there were calls to get rid of that. What does this all add up to? Power. Unilateral, one-party rule. If you pack the court, get rid of the filibuster, and that is what the left is after. And I would just refer them to Joe Biden's own words when he said it was a boneheaded idea, to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who said that 9 is the number that it should be. Any true historian or academic who's looking at history would look back to 1937 with FDR, who, when he tried to do this, his own party called him out and said it would shatter the republic and invade judicial power. This is a bad idea, and I'm not surprised to see it, though, with today's modern left.
So, Dave, unpacking the president's past comments in this decision as well. So we know that he has said, well, you'll know my opinion after the election. We know, as Kaylee pointed out, he thought it was a boneheaded idea. And now he places as a co-chair one of the top lawyers for his campaign. So is this the message in and of itself? And what do you make of this decision?
Yeah, well, listen, Kaylee is 100% crystal clear correct. The Democrats are now here to destroy every single political norm that we've had in this country for 250 years. And the fact that Biden is flipping on these things shouldn't surprise anybody. I mean, there's the great moment from the debates when Kamala Harris was still running, when she was asked about an executive action on guns, and she said, Joe, can't we just say yes, we can? And Biden said it had to be constitutional. Well, we all know what happened yesterday. So it shouldn't surprise any of us that they want to pack the courts. And of course, this is just a power grab. The left sees a great moment here. They have a very, I would say, weak 78-year-old president who clearly isn't the one in charge, who clearly isn't the representative of where the energy in the party is. And they are going for everything. They're putting all their chips on the table. Well, actually, I'll give a better analogy. It's not that they're putting all their chips on the table. They're just going to flip the table over. They have decided they have a moment right now, and what they will either do everything by executive action, or they will pack the courts, or they will get rid of the filibuster, or I can't even imagine what else is coming. But I'm telling you, every norm that we think we have, just the fact that we're all having this conversation now, whether we should be packing the courts, if Biden would have been honest about it a few months ago, maybe he wouldn't be president right now, but he knew, or at least the powers that be knew, that once you have him in, you can pretty much do anything.
Kennedy, it's arguable that much about this administration is about optics catering to the left. And so for those that are expecting maybe quick action by the commission, they might be disappointed. And so do you think, is this the extent of the action then? Is this appeasing the far left cries to actually pack the court? But do you think what will happen actually from this commission? What do you foresee?
Yeah, I do think that this is a symbolic gesture for the left in order to get them to calm down a little bit, because there's really not enough room in the Democrat Party for these ideologies. And a two-party system is so outdated at this point, and this just goes to show you how high the stakes really are when it's us or them. Everything is zero-sum. It also goes to show that Congress is completely irrelevant. So if everything is done, to Dave's point, by executive order or through the court system, then that means Congress can just do what they're doing, which is essentially absolutely nothing. And that's not a good look for them either. I am excited in the next 10 years, we're going to have at least one or two shifts in party in the White House. And so by the time I'm an older lady, the Supreme Court is going to look like a gospel choir. And if you know me, you know I love a gospel brunch. So I am very much looking forward to that. It's going to be great.
Kayleigh, part of the impact and the success, arguably, of the Trump administration was the amount of judges that he appointed. Can you speak to that from your purview within that administration and how you see that impact moving forward, especially on this?
Yeah, that's exactly, I think, the crux of really what this is all about. You know, President Trump got 3 Supreme Court justices, filled a historic number of vacancies in a small amount of time in the federal judiciary, and the left can't take that. There was an article last week lamenting the far right turn, religious turn of the court, which is preposterous. What the court has done is protect innocent, vulnerable people's religious liberty, like the Sisters of the Little Poor, because the Sisters of the Poor, they protect our fundamental constitutional rights, which, according to Joe Biden, are no longer absolute. So the court is more important than ever, and it cannot become a political partisan mechanism, this venerable institution, one that even far-left justices acknowledge shouldn't change its makeup, because it is the one institution that people still have faith in as a protector of our rights. And I would just say, this is why those 2 races in Georgia are so important. This is why 2022 is so important. The commission will take its time, but we need a Senate that is not willing to overturn our institutions wholesale.
Emily, if I could just get one last word in there. If one were to ask what the plan is of the Biden administration to expand the court or make changes to the court, you have a very clear answer right now. There's a commission. You have a question of what they're going to do to fix the mess at the southern border. There is no clear laid out plan for that. So look at the optics of this as well. When we still don't even have a schedule for either Biden or Kamala Harris, who's the point person on the border, to visit the border, but you have a very clear explanation as to how they plan to change this country and change the court, you have one. I mean, the optics of that are really something in this moment.